My mother-in-law slapped me so hard I hit the floor. A week later, the DNA test arrived and I threw it at the whole family. I was 8 months pregnant when my mother-in-law called me a whore in front of the entire family. It was Sunday dinner at their house. I was huge and tired and my ankles were swollen. My husband David helped me into a chair and I thought everything was fine. Then his mother Linda stood up and slapped me so hard across the face that I fell sideways off the chair and hit the floor. Everyone gasped, but nobody moved to help me. I looked up from the ground, hand on my belly, completely in shock. Linda was standing over me with her finger pointed at my face. "You lying woman," she screamed. "That baby belongs to some random man. I know it. I always knew you were trash, but I never thought you would do this to my son." I couldn't speak. I couldn't even process what was happening. David just stood there. He didn't help me up. He didn't defend me. He just stood there with his jaw tight and his fists clenched. "David," I whispered. "What is she talking about?" He finally looked at me and his eyes were cold. "Someone told me you were seen with another man last month. At a restaurant, holding hands." My blood went ice cold. I was at a restaurant last month with my brother who had just flown in from overseas after 3 years. My brother who I hadn't seen since our father's funeral. I was holding his hand because we were both crying about Dad. "That was my brother," I said, still on the floor. "James, you met him at our wedding." Linda laughed. "Right, your brother. How convenient that this brother shows up right when your baby is due." David's sister Emily walked over and looked down at me with disgust. "Just admit it. We all know the baby isn't David's. Look at the timeline. You got pregnant right after that work trip you took." "I never went on a work trip," I said. My voice was shaking. "I don't even travel for work." Nobody listened. David's father Richard finally spoke from his chair. He didn't even look at me. "Son, I think you know what you need to do." David grabbed my arm and pulled me up roughly. "Pack your things and get out," he said. His voice cracked a little, but his face stayed hard. "Go die somewhere else. I don't want to see you again." I stood there in the middle of this family that I had loved for 4 years. I had cooked for them, cleaned up after their holiday dinners, listened to Linda complain about her health for hours, helped Emily plan her wedding, and now they were throwing me out like garbage based on a rumor. Linda put her arm around Emily and smiled. "Don't worry, honey," she said loudly so I could hear. "You'll give us the first real grandchild. This one was never going to count anyway." I looked at David one more time. I waited for him to say something. Anything. He turned his back to me. I left that house with nothing but my purse and my phone. I drove to my mother's house and cried for 6 hours straight. She wanted to go back there and fight them all, but I told her to wait. I had a better idea. See, David had been paranoid about the baby's paternity since month 3. He never said it out loud, but I could tell. He started checking my phone, asking where I was every hour. So 2 months ago, without telling him, I had already done a prenatal DNA test. The results were sitting in my email. I had never opened them because I knew the truth and I didn't think I needed to prove anything to my own husband. But now I did. I printed out the results and waited. For 1 week, I stayed at my mother's house. I didn't answer calls from David or his family. They left voicemails. Linda said I was proving my guilt by hiding. Emily texted that I should just admit it so everyone could move on. David sent one message: "If you come back with proof, we can talk." On the 7th day, I drove back to their house. Another Sunday dinner. They were all there. When I walked through the door, everyone went silent. Linda stood up like she was ready to hit me again. I walked straight to the dining table and threw the envelope in the middle of their pot roast. "DNA results," I said calmly, "from 2 months ago, before any of this nonsense started." David grabbed the envelope and ripped it open. I watched his face change as he read. 99% probability of paternity. David is the father." Linda snatched the paper from him. "That's fake," she said. "You made this up. It's from a certified lab," I said. "Call them yourself." David followed me to my car. "Please," he said. "I'll do anything. Therapy. Whatever you want." I looked at him standing there in the driveway, begging. "4 years," I said. "I gave you 4 years. I supported you through law school. I cleaned your mother's house every holiday. I did everything right. And the second someone whispered a lie about me, you threw me away like I was nothing." Tears were running down his face. I was scared. The thought of the baby not being mine drove me crazy. "Then you should have asked me," I said. "You should have talked to me like a human being instead of letting your mother